Hey YouTube, my name is Faye Hadley, and today I'm coming at you with another brake myth brought to you by my friends at PowerStop. And today's myth is, all brake pads are pretty much the same, so it doesn't really matter which ones you choose. Just get the cheapest. Y'all, this is definitely a myth. Seriously, this could not be further from the truth, because not only do brake pads vary significantly in terms of material composition, but even within the same category, say semi-metallic pads, for example, there are countless different formulations across each and every manufacturer, much like cookies. We've got chocolate chip, we've got peanut butter, snickerdoodle, sugar cookie, right? There are so many different types of cookies out there, but there are so many different recipes for each type of cookie. So my mom's chocolate chip cookies do not taste like your mom's chocolate chip cookies, right? So today, let's discuss different types of brake pad materials. And let's begin with a quiz. Which of these 11 items are ingredients that you can find in brake pads? Number 1, cashew dust. Number 2, graphite. Number 3, lime. Number 4, ceramic fibers. Actually, nah. I feel like that one's a little bit too easy, and I feel like enough of y'all have watched my videos by now to know that my friends at PowerStop offer ceramic brakes. And although even within that category, there are many different formulation options, like their Z17 Evolution pads, or their upgraded Z23 or Z26 or Z36 pads, which are actually a carbon fiber ceramic compound. I do want to discuss those specialty pad types later on, but for this video, I kind of want to stick with the weird stuff. How about 4, let's do rubber scraps. That's more like it. 5, walnut shells. For number 6, hazelnut shells. 7, cocoa bean shell. Got a lot of shell options going on. Number 8, staying on the topic of shells, periwinkle shells. Okay, some of these are real ingredients, y'all, okay? You're gonna have to guess. I'm not just throwing you all curveballs here. Number 9, banana peels. Number 10, now we're going into the fruit category. Mango seeds. Number 11. Actually, let's stay on food here. Rice husk. Okay, there we go. There's your 11. Now I'm going to give you a second to sort of mull over this and think about it while I tell you my first experience thinking about any sort of brake pad material. When I first graduated off the lube rack and started doing slightly more advanced maintenance jobs, such as brakes, a mentor of mine always stressed safety to me, and I thought it was a little excessive, or at the very least, outdated information. Treat every job like the brake pads are made of asbestos, he would always tell me, and he would encourage me to wear a mask while I was doing brakes and not to use compressed air to blow brake dust off of the brackets or any other components. And I thought he was being way overcautious. I mean, asbestos was outlawed decades ago. Like, we're talking way back in the 50s, right? Well, no. Not right at all. In fact, when I was doing research for this video, I realized how little I actually knew about brake pad materials. Much to my surprise, asbestos is not at all a material of the past. And my mentor was absolutely right. We didn't stop producing brake pads and other automotive parts with asbestos until the 1990s. So we all need to treat every single brake job as if the stuff we're removing is asbestos, because did you know that you can still buy brake pads right now containing asbestos? Now, in other parts of the world, such as countries like China and India, asbestos use in automotive parts is still perfectly legal. And those products are still imported and sold in the US. Now, unfortunately, I can't tell you specifically which brake pads or other automotive parts to avoid, because there's no master list of asbestos-containing components. And this is mainly because regulatory enforcement and reporting just varies widely country by country. So many asbestos-containing brake pads slip under the radar and really only showing up when authorities test samples. So in fact, there are a few recent cases of this just this past year, one of which being a motorcycle brake pad that was sold on AliExpress, and it was manufactured in China. I've included a list of resources in the description of this video so that you guys can check this out for yourselves. But now, moving on from asbestos, let's discuss these brake pad ingredients. Let's see how many of you guessed correctly, and when we're done, drop a comment with your score out of 11. Let's get into these. Cashew dust? Come on, Faye, you can't be serious. Oh, but I am. And this is indeed a brake pad ingredient. This can also be referred to as cashew nutshell liquid, or CNSL. Look it up, y'all. This can be found in many different brake pad formulations. Okay, cashew dust is actually an effective and sustainable additive to brake pads because it enhances heat resistance, improves frictional stability, dampens noise, and it reduces wear. And it acts as a natural binder and a friction modifier. As you can probably imagine, cashew dust is considered a more eco-friendly alternative to other synthetic materials because it reduces reliance on petroleum. Who knew? Next, graphite. I feel like this one might be the most obvious out of all of them here on this crazy list because yes, graphite is a critical component found in many brake pads because of its friction stabilization and heat management properties. Now, some newer high-performance brake pads even use advanced forms of graphite, like graphene, for superior cooling and performance. Graphite helps with smooth braking, helps to reduce noise, and helps prevent the pads from getting too hot, which ensures consistent stopping power. Lime, what do you think? So actually, yes. Many different brake pads do use lime or calcium hydroxide as a rust inhibitor and to help prevent corrosion. Specifically, it has been shown to prevent corrosion stiction, which is a condition where brake pads stick to the rotor from moisture and salt exposure. It achieves this by creating a really high alkaline environment, like a pH of greater than 12, when it reacts with water. So, yes to lime. Next, rubber scraps? I know this is a weird one, but is this whole list full of weird ones? But actually, yes. Many modern brake pads use recycled rubber scraps from tires, actually, as a filler material. Now, believe it or not, rubber actually helps to dampen noise and vibrations, and many of my fellow techs out there know what a big deal NVH, or noise, vibrations, and harshness can be. It also helps to improve sustainability, which helps to reduce costs. Though, keep in mind, the rubber is finely ground and mixed in. It's not just like loose scraps like you might be picturing with this one. Next, walnut shells. All right, we already had cashew dust, so maybe this one isn't so far-fetched, right? Is this a brake pad ingredient? It is. Much like cashew dust, some brake pads use walnut shell powder as an eco-friendly filler to provide structure, increase hardness, and actually improve performance, so they say. Walnut shells are a natural, lightweight, and tough additive that helps to reduce wear on the rotors and actually has excellent thermal properties, which helps to manage heat effectively during braking. So, cool for walnut shells. But what about hazelnut shells? What do you think? Are they the same? Well, no, actually. I know. As of right now, they appear to be only experimental, but they are an eco-friendly prototype. Nothing that you would actually find available in commercial products right now, but there are research-based pads that are using pulverized hazelnut shell dust as a sustainable alternative to petroleum coke or other friction modifiers that kind of have the same consistency. So, sad about that. But another shell, cocoa bean shells. I mean, at this point, you'll pretty much believe anything, right? But actually, cocoa bean shells are also not in any commercial pads yet. So we're gonna do a little no there. But they are one of many current ingredients being researched, along with other agro-waste products, is what they're called, like the hazelnut shells, also corn husks and palm kernel. These are like the next generation of sustainable, eco-friendly friction materials, so not yet on the cocoa bean shells, but maybe soon. Number 8, periwinkle shells. Do you know what a periwinkle is? It's like a little snail thing. It's found in the ocean. A living creature. Hopefully they don't harm any in making this ingredient, but actually, no. This is another one that isn't in any major commercial brake pads just yet, but once again, they are currently being used in academic research for developing another eco-friendly, asbestos-free ingredient. It's just an alternative to what's already out there. They're actually showing some promise, okay? The studies have currently shown them to aid in improving friction and reducing wear, and they do meet the industrial standards for sustainable brake pads. So maybe we'll see these in the future. Number 9, banana peels. This one's my favorite. What do you picture when I say banana peels? I mean, in my mind, like, I instantly goes to slipping or like dropping them out of my little car for my opponent to slip on in Mario Kart, right? There's no way that these were actually a brake pad ingredient, right? Well, would you believe me if I told you that a brake pad produced using banana peel waste is currently being researched for future use and development? I know it sounds insane, so I did link the articles in the notes, so you can check me on this one. And actually, I linked all of my research for all of these materials. But I swear to you that the study actually concluded that banana peel particles can effectively be used as a replacement for asbestos in brake pad manufacturing. Psh, I know. Apparently they had some impressive wear rates as well as incredible thermal stability. I'm actually going to quote a part of one of these studies because it was so funny to me. All right, so the addition of hard banana peel particles improves the resistance to seizure. The banana peel particles allow considerable thermal softening effects without having adverse effects on the wear behavior. The presence of banana peel particles provides higher thermal stability, increased abrasion, and sliding wear resistance, and delays the transition from mild to severe wear. All right, I don't really understand what the last part of that means, but okay. Who knew? This is a weird one. So, not yet, but maybe. Now mango seed. What do you think? Real ingredient? Again, not yet, but potentially. In current academic research, using mango seeds as brake pad ingredients are another way to repurpose agricultural waste and reduce reliance on synthetic or hazardous materials like asbestos. And I'm going to read a short excerpt from one of the studies that I linked in the video notes because it was just funny. The practical implications of this research suggest that brake pad manufacturers and the automotive industry could benefit from incorporating mango fruit residues into their production processes. Now, this study actually goes on to further highlight the positive social implications of using mango shells in brake pads, citing the potential for creating new economic opportunities for farmers and communities involved in mango cultivation who may benefit from selling their residues to brake pad manufacturers. I mean, that's pretty cool, right? Save the world by stopping with mangoes. And lastly, rice husk. Brake pad material or no? Well, once again, not yet, but it is indeed being considered suitable as friction material due to its ceramic-like behavior. According to one study, rice husk has received considerable interest due to its lignin, cellulose, and silica content. And some initial experimentation results have shown that adding small amount of rice husk particles to an experimental brake pad improved compressive strength, puncture strength, and bulk density when compared to the control pads. So, not yet, but once again, maybe soon. Okay, so that was weird. And actually that was totally not on purpose. All the correct ones and all the incorrect ones, that was weird too. But how many did you get right? And more importantly, what is the point of me telling you all this? Now, before we did this little quiz, did you have any idea how many different ingredients there could be found in brake pads and how many more are currently being tested for use in the brake pads of the future? And every one of these items listed has different hardnesses, different wear resistances, different friction coefficients, different binding properties. So back to the cookie analogy that I used at the beginning of this video. Your mom bakes chocolate chip cookies, and so does mine. Now, let's say they follow the exact same recipe. They could choose different ingredients. They probably won't taste the same. So even if you choose two similar semi-metallic brake pads that conform to the OE specifications of a Toyota Supra, for example, but they're made by different brands, do you think that they'll perform the same? Similar maybe, but chances are those brake pads have a lot less in common than you think that they do. So what does this actually mean to you, the consumer, as you walk into an auto parts store or scan the internet for your next brake pad replacement? Well, for one, back to the myth, all brake pads are not the same, and it does matter which ones you choose. And while I spent the majority of this video discussing some bizarre ingredients that can or could potentially be used in brake pads, it's equally as important to look for the absence of certain materials. Cheaper is not always better, and it's best to purchase your brake pads from a reputable manufacturer just to be sure that you're not using pads that contain asbestos, or more recently, copper. Now, copper has been flagged as an environmental concern, so the Better Brakes legislation mandated that every supplier become level N compliant for copper content by 2025. Now, PowerStop was far ahead of the curve and made the change in 2020. And while I didn't touch on the more mainstream ingredients that you'll find in brake pads because they weren't quite as funny or as shocking, as I mentioned at the beginning of this video, PowerStop's Z17 Evolution Plus brake pads feature a ceramic friction formula, and then the premium line of friction offerings such as Z36 Truck and Tow or Z26 Street Warrior features a carbon fiber ceramic friction formula. And I definitely plan to cover these in depth in another video because PowerStop's friction formulators carefully decide the ingredients, ratios, and manufacturing process controls needed to achieve the best results, And after reading through all of these studies when researching for this video, I realized that there was so much more to brake pad science than I ever knew, which is why PowerStop is the only aftermarket option that I provide to my customers at the shop, both today and long before I ever became a partner. And you can check back on my YouTube channel. You can find a whole series of different DIY install tutorials featuring the PowerStop products, as well as more on the Brake Myth Busting series. So thank you so much for watching, and I will see you in my next one, and I definitely look forward to seeing all of your scores in the comments.